Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is Sunday, the 13th of January. We are 4 days away from birthday 2019 and hours away from the start of Phil Birth Week 2019. But I thought we would take a little live because as I said too, if I don't get to talk to y'all, as miss it too. As miss it just as much as you. And as want to come and do it, but as worry about, we can't overexpose, we gotta leave them wanting more. All of this time, you understand me, Philip? You can't get too common. How do I not get common? I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I want to tell you something, Today, I'm in a PEP meeting, because today we have to do a site visit down at the South Regional Office that is opening Saturday coming. So Sunday morning, Saturday we there, Sunday we there. All of this week is preparation. Saturday night I was there. This morning I'm back there, down in St. Madeleine. And all of this week is preparation for that launch of the South Regional Office that is eclipsing an even bigger celebration happening on the same day, PEP's second anniversary. And I don't want to get off on a rant here, but in the time the Progressive Empowerment Party from January 18, 2017 to now, we have seen existing parties deflate and die, go away, have nothing to say. We've seen them go, all their members leave, existing parties. We've seen the opposition reduced to dust. The United National Congress is a shadow of its former self. We've watched political organizations form and never get off the ground. We've seen people promise to become political parties. We've seen in the 2 years that we've been here, clawing away. Because for all of those people outside there, not all, there's not plenty, but for those whose main preoccupation is the Progressive Empowerment Party, while the PNM and the UNC dry humping us raw, but they have me and PEP to study. Whole day they're posting. Some of them dare not actually say my name. Because not everybody want to come in that kitchen. And to those who say that we have to carry ourselves with more decorum, we're in a shit fight. They're flinging feces all over the game. We didn't dictate the pace. We didn't come into Catman rally. We didn't bring up Groomerman and Pasture. 15 years ago, Kamala talking about Mr. Bisessa Pipe. We didn't get into none. We didn't start the fire. But you have to understand this. And as former Senate President Timothy Hammersmith told me, be about the winning game. Don't be about the friends-making game. That is not what this is. This is about win the election convincingly to govern the country properly for the first time in its history. And we're very upfront. We're very clear. We are the only political party that says to the country, if we win, 50,000 of y'all come to the parliament. 100,000 of y'all get out your house. Come to the parliament. If we win, we are telling you, don't let us off the hook. Don't wait. Don't stay in your house and post on Facebook. Let me see if they will keep their promise. We are the only political organization, the Progressive Empowerment Party, that says, if we win the election, come down to the parliament. 150,000 of y'all, 250,000 of y'all. If 1 million of y'all want to mobilize, come to your parliament. Because we want you there to see our first promise, our first act. We say, and I want all of the haters and the detractors who don't like me, but following so close, every time I stop, they button me in the back of my head. I want the haters and the detractors to hear this. We say our first day in office, we amend the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to write a law called recall. We say, if we are the government, we will call the parliament to order, and we are not coming out until there is a law that allows the people of Trinidad and Tobago to fire non-performing or errant members of parliament. And that is a catalyst of like no other. The thing, and I try to explain this to people who all over Facebook yammering away about constitution reform. Yes, there are many things that need fixing. Yes, we know. We've written books on it. We know. But there is a keystone. There is one important act, one important law. Ask anybody. 0 to 60 is one thing. 60 to 0 is something else. If you have an accelerator and you don't have brakes, where are you going? You're going to crash. That's what happens to Trinidad with every lesser evil exchange vote. Because if you vote somebody into office based on the best, brightest promises, and they renege, fail to deliver, lie to you, you at this point have no recourse. Pay attention to this so you could go down in the trenches and fight this fight. Argue with them. Tell Basdeo Panday and his minions and fake profiles, Philip Edward Alexander say that the most important reform is an amendment to provide the people the power to fire non-performing members of government. Because the moment the people have that power, the parliament belongs to the people as it should. And I need to say that again, because I want the detractors and the haters to hear me. And I want to say it with an abundance of love. This is the start of my birthday week, so I want to be the kindest, best version of Philip that I can be. And I'm graciously accepting all the birthday wishes and the greetings and the love and the presents. I take in everything. I want my detractors and my haters, and I want the entire country to hear again. The Progressive Empowerment Party pledges its first act as a government to convene the parliament and not come out until recall is law. Recall gives the people the power to fire non-performing members of parliament. No organization in this country will allow you to hire somebody and not be able to terminate them. In business, we have divorce clauses, exit clauses, termination clauses, but the most important offices in this country, we can't fire. We don't know how to fire the Prime Minister who won't fire the Chief Justice. The problem is we do not have the power. We have power for the brief moment it takes for us to vote. And the minute that vote is cast, dropped in that box, and we turn away, we have no power left. My power must be able to recall that vote. That's why they call it recall. I am recalling my vote. I am recanting my vote. I am terminating you from office for failure to perform or any other misbehavior in public office. This is critical. I don't want to be calling names of people anymore. You all know, if you see them outside there talking constitution reform. Constitution reform without a vision or a plan is just more nonsense, more political badgering. They're making a mockery of the system. I want to give the people of Carenage the power to fire Keith Rowley for reneging on the deal for 32 years to give them their fish market. What I will tell you that? I want to give the people of Morvant, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots the power to hold elections, by-elections every year until they find somebody that properly represents them. We are in a crisis as a country because our system of government creates elected dictators for 5 years and 6 months by law. And we're not just making a promise. We tell you in that magical moment that the election results come in and you know that the Progressive Empowerment Party is your government. Take this as your invitation. Come to the parliament. Come to your parliament. It is called the House of Representatives. Its purpose, spoken into existence by the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, its purpose is to hold and treat with the representation of the People's Act and everything that flows from there. It is the space in which the people have their voices heard. That is what the parliament is. It does not belong to the president. It does not belong to the speaker. It does not belong to the prime minister. The House of Representatives, the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Every brick, every trowel full of mortar plastered on that wall, every screw, every nail, every seat, every chair, everything in that property, wherever the mace sits and is called and declared the parliament, belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And if we start in there with the conversation, let me go. Sharing the video. The best time to out a fire is when it's starting, and this is what Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Jagdeo Singh, Shem Baldeo Singh, and the rest of the hidden cabal that is running that United National Congress front for the contract mafia that raped, plundered, and pillaged this country the last time it was in office. They think that the best time to out a fire is when it's starting, and the Progressive Empowerment Party is something they consider a raging fire, so they come to out that fire. But you don't throw gas. You don't throw gas. I want to find something my partner right today. Or you come in. I find him, 1 minute. But you don't throw gas. Every time one of those attacks come, you know what they do? It bumps the Progressive Empowerment Party higher. Every time. Every time one of those attacks come, that's what happens. It bumps this party higher. Plain talk. I need to find this man. I'm talking to you and I'm forgetting that that's what I'm trying to do. And you have to hear this. Okay, I'll go on his wall. Kenneth Luke, chairman of the advisory council. Well, you know what this is? We share this today. Watch this. See that sign? Learn that sign, eh? We're printing it on t-shirts. We're putting it on bumper stickers. We're putting it on posters and flyers. You see that symbol with your two hands there? That means miss me with that bullshit. Remember that. I want to find this post and read it for you because it makes the point. And as usual, these things get lost in all the conversation. This is the story. A man walked into a restaurant in London. As soon as he entered, he noticed an African man sitting in the corner. So he walked over to the counter, removed his wallet and shouted, "Waiter, I am buying food for everyone in this restaurant except that black African guy over there." So the waiter collected the money from the man and began serving free food to everyone in the restaurant except the African. However, instead of becoming upset, the African simply looked up at the man and shouted, "Thank you." That infuriated the man. So once again, the man took out his wallet and shouted, "Waiter, this time I am buying bottles of wine and additional food for everyone in this bar, except for that African sitting in the corner over there." So the waiter took the money again and began serving free food and wine to everybody in the bar except the African. When the waiter finished serving, once again, instead of becoming angry, the African simply smiled at the man and shouted, "Thank you." That made the bigoted man even more furious. So he leaned over on the counter and said to the waiter, "What is wrong with that man? I have bought food and drinks for everyone in the bar except him. But instead of becoming angry, he just sits there and smiles and shouts, 'Thank you.' Is he mad?" The waiter smiled at the man and said, "No, he's not mad. He's the owner of the restaurant." And that's the point. That's the point. In this story, I am the African man. In this story here, every time they attack me or us, I get a slew of their friends coming to friend request me. I get a slew of messages telling me, "Hey, ignore them mad people because we're seeing what you're doing." Listen, if you think government is a sweetie, if you think for a minute government is a prize, stop. Let me disabuse you of that notion immediately. Anybody coming into government now in this country have work cut out to fix our justice system alone is a Herculean task. To make our education system functional alone is a Herculean task. To make public health professional, first world, dignified, and within easy reach of every citizen is a Herculean task by itself. To diversify the economy away from oil and gas so the vicissitudes of the energy sector doesn't bob and weave with our fortunes is a Herculean task. Securing the nation's borders, ending the drug trade, cleaning up the police service, incentivizing the police service to motivate them, transforming the army and the Coast Guard into homeland security. That is a Herculean task by itself. Having everybody in this country who wants a job get a job, the government's job is to make sure there are more jobs than people, not just baton twirling or KFC snack packing. Real jobs that people could build a career and advance themselves, climb a ladder, develop, maximize their potential. That is a Herculean task. Any of you walking around out there thinking for a minute that government in this country now is fun, you're wrong. You're wrong. Unless you are one of those corrupt racist parties who are just there to fill their pockets at the expense of everybody else, anybody that is coming there going to have to put up with all of the political marches and all of the political noise making. And you have to be ready because you have your 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And you know where you want the people of this country to advance to at the end of the first year, at the end of the second year, at the end of the third year, at the end of the fifth year. We want to make sure that when we analyze our results, we could show you on something called a quality of life index, that the people of this country happy. We need to get you to there. We need to redevelop Trinidad and Tobago to functionality before we could even bandy about words like first world and developed. How could you consider a city as poorly maintained and mismanaged as Port of Spain? When you look at all of these friends of government ministers who are getting public office campus free of charge to hold carnival vets, that's what's going on now in those multi-billion-dollar edifices to greed that Patrick Manning built. We spent $1.2 billion to build a place for Brian Lara to stunt and now for Machel Montano to hold a breakfast party. It cost the people of this country $1.2 billion. $1,200 million. If $1 million could build 10 houses, $100,000 starter home, then $1 billion could build 1,000 of those houses. And instead of treating with that, creating the opportunity for people to have hope and opportunity, we are stunt artist paradise. So Machel Montano going to hoor and whiny ass all over the stage. Brother, like yourself, if Cameline Power, you could whine on we head, and Rowling Power, you could whine on we head, because these jackasses only interested in populist leadership that distracts the people and gives them an opportunity to steal. I don't blame you. Can't blame you. But I'll deal with something. You see, again, the media plays catch up with Philip and the Pep. You ever notice how nobody talking Herbert Volney, but we tell you Herbert Volney misbehaved in public office and should have been charged, prosecuted and jailed. It now reached the Parliament Friday. I want to give some idea of what's going on. Give you an idea of what's going on. I'll play a clip for you because you need to hear it. Right? Johnny Sukaran, Al-Rawi, who forgot conveniently.
The Attorney General says he has proof that the entire cabinet of Kamal Prasad Bissassa knew what Section 34 entailed. AG Faris Al-Rawi made the revelation in the Parliament during debate on the Administration of Justice Indictable Proceedings Amendment Bill 20.
Now, he forgot all the talk that he talked. All the seats that he burned up on Hema and Fazil show, morning after morning, talking about who did wrong and what was wrong. And I'm wearing this jersey tonight because I put out a picture of myself from 1999, 2007 and different things. And I was wearing this jersey in, I think, the 2007 picture. And I keep telling you all that for everything I own, I try to make it last as long as possible. I have clothes 10, 15, 20 years old. I'm gladly happy. I have no brands. I don't have to fool nobody. I don't have to put nobody else's name on my back. So I wanted to be able to show and make the point. Anyway, back on this. The truth of the matter here is that the Attorney General is using this for distraction points, and I don't care. Because I'm glad it's back in the public space. Because I want the public to hear this.
Read from the cabinet note that the cabinet, every man and woman present in that cabinet were absolutely informed of the need to operationalize the delay provision.
Understand this. The Indictment Act, what was the name of this act? I try to remember the name of that act that they bring, the justice, I don't want to call it foolishness. I'll Google it for you. Because did she mention it in the start? Let me see if she mentioned it in the start.
As he has proof that the entire cabinet of Kamal Prasad Bissassa knew what Section 34 entailed. AG Faris Al-Rawi made the revelation in the Parliament during debate on the Administration of Justice Indictable Proceedings Amendment Bill 2018.
That's a mouthful. But that bill that they had, Section 34, that was a part of, they delayed everything else to rush Section 34, and this is why.
read from the cabinet note.
This is why.
That the cabinet, every man and woman present in that cabinet were absolutely informed of the need to operationalize the delay provision. In other words, today, for the first time in the history of this country, the truth is coming out by way of black and white reference to a cabinet note.
You see what a tangled web we weave when we conspire to deceive? I want you to hear his words again.
Of this country, the truth is coming out today for the first time in the history of this country. For the first time in the history of this country. In other words, today, for the first time in the history of this country,
the Parliament was scandalized by none other than the Attorney General, who indicted it as a den of lies on Friday. The Attorney General said that on the 11th of January, him on his legs is the first time in the history of this Parliament truth is being told. That means he is saying to Trinidad and Tobago, every other contribution he has made has been a lie. And his Prime Minister has been a lie. And everybody else on both sides of the aisle, in every version of the PNM and the UNC, has lied to this nation. The Attorney General has said to the country that for the first time, truth is being told.
Absolutely informed of the need to operationalize the delay provision. In other words, today, for the first time in the history of this country, the truth is coming out. In other words, today, for the first time in the history of this country, the truth is coming out. In other words, today, for the first time in the history of this country, the truth is coming out by way of black and white reference to a cabinet note.
Because of the Section 34 controversy, Herbert Volney was fired as the Minister of Justice. The AG quoted from a Facebook post allegedly made by Mr. Volney early in January 2019.
Now stop, stick a pin, hold your breath, pull up your zip, put your seat back up on your tray in an upright position. This jackass Volney, who I have told repeatedly, stay in your lane. You are going to get yourself in trouble. You are reminding people that you are a criminal walking free. Worse, you were a sworn officer of the court as a High Court Justice, then a member of Parliament and a government minister. 3 oaths sworn that you've broken, and know that you can't keep it in your pants long enough to let people forget you've lit yourself on fire. Herbert Volney admitted to this country that he was the author and the architect of Section 34. Yet to this day, he has not been questioned on it, has not been investigated for it, or charged and prosecuted. That has to be dealt with.
KPB, after she chose to pin a lie upon me to say I misled her cabinet in order to excuse my dismissal as Minister over Section 34, I brought to her attention that one of her senior ministers had extracted 4 equal payments in cash, representing 10% of a legitimate $20 million debt owed by the ministry to facilitate payment of the debt.
We don't get lost in that. Volney on Section 34 is what you have to hear. What Volney just said, oh, you want to hear it again? Let me hear Volney again now. Hear what he said.
Attention that say I misled her cabinet in order to excuse to pin a lie upon me to say I misled her cabinet after she chose to pin a lie upon me to say I misled her cabinet.
On Tuesday, July 14th, 2015, sacked Justice Minister and former, this is the guardian of democracy, the Jamet of St. Vincent Street, sacked Justice Minister and former St. Joseph, the Trinidad Guardian, St. Joseph MP Herbert Volney yesterday contradicted statements made by Independent Liberal Party leader Jack Warner about the birth of Section 34. Warner, in a sworn statement, alleged a criminal conspiracy to implement the law for the benefit of two United National Congress financiers, Ishwar Galbaran Singh and Steve Ferguson, who were charged with a series of fraud offences related to the Piarco Airport Development Project. Section 34 was conceived by me with no urging from the political directorate of the country. It was hammered out in the Senate by opposition government and independent benches, and it was a parliamentary oversight not to include white-collar crime in the schedule of exempted crimes. Volney, a former High Court judge, said in response to queries from CNC3. He said it was intended to force the hand of the Director of Public Prosecutions to prosecute long outstanding matters where oppression by delay was becoming an issue. A High Court judge says of another senior office holder in this banana republic, narco state, shithole, cesspool of a failed nation. To my haters and my detractors who have a problem with how I speak, kiss my half-red ass. When a former High Court judge, member of parliament and justice minister can say without fear of contradiction, listen to what he says about the Director of Public Prosecutions. He said it was intended, Parliament, to force the hand of the Director of Public Prosecutions to prosecute long outstanding matters where oppression by delay was becoming an issue. This man just said that the Director of Public Prosecutions was aware that the justice system was oppressing people by delaying matters, and that his government took it upon themselves to write a law called Section 34 to force the DPP. It was judicially conceived by me, given my background on the bench. If there was anything wrong with it in principle, I was to accept responsibility for it. There were differences in the cabinet over how to deal with Section 34 after Steve and Ish availed themselves of the facility. The AG and I drew swords. The PM supported him and repealed the section, and I took the fall over it. Say that again. There were differences in the cabinet over how to deal with Section 34. I want to stick a pin right here. And you see my little friend, the selfie queen, who following Volney. Because she and Volney form a party, you know. What's the name of that party? We're dealing with all of this tonight. The selfie queen and Volney create a party called... Get the name of the party. Two people in that party, you know. Selfie queen, Herbert Volney. Ali G in New York supplying the popcorn to watch and see where that Nowherean party go. This is a party on Herbert Volney. This is a man with the proverbial sword of Damocles hanging over his head, having perverted the parliament to write a law to free financiers not just suspected of fraud. Their co-conspirators, Guterres and the other one, confessed in Miami and went to jail. Volney knew that they were criminals. That Section 34 was being written and released early. If you forget, when he said it was judicially conceived by me and any mistakes is for me, don't forget, Bo Tiwari pelt out money, $25 million to Machel Montano to sing, this is a special anniversary. Distract the whole nation. One set of fireworks in the savannah. Anything all you wanted, flag everywhere. We celebrating this independence. And while the country was distracted, these sons of bitches, including the Prime Minister and the President, met surreptitiously to pass this law in the dead of night. This is who the selfie queen supported her. They passed this law and want to test me, want to test my commitment to my country and supporting a man capable of this much criminality. Gone full circle, leave his flip-flop party and supporting the UNC. Selfie queen telling people, this same woman who panicked because 2 black people walk in the street and I grab she chair and run inside. And I vex. I tell you why I vex. Because I let these people in close to me and gave them a name and a reputation from which they are using to attack me. But that son of a bitch has no integrity. Because if she had an ounce of integrity, Herbert Volney would be the last person she would be consorting and associating with. Anybody for that matter. Because Herbert Volney admitted to the country that he was the author and the architect. But what is worse, and what Trinidad and Tobago don't understand, and what you have to understand, and I want to impress this upon you, not only did they corrupt the parliament, they corrupted the means by which a law is assented to. Prakash Ramadhan in the Parliament, Congress of the People, Prakash Ramadhan in the Parliament on Friday, defending the nonsense by saying that the Parliament, you will hear it, but he was the head of the Legislative Review Committee as Legal Affairs Minister and failed to pick it up deliberately or incompetently. And if either, why is Prakash Ramadhan still in the Parliament? The Attorney General, Anand Ramlogan, was out of the country for 4 days. The Legal Affairs Minister, Prakash Ramadhan, failed to do his job. And the Justice Minister was able, according to him now, at the behest of the Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, write a corrupt law to corrupt the Parliament. And then the bunch of them distracted this nation. Bo Tiwari was given the responsibility to distract you and give you bullshit to focus on, while the rest of them went in President's house in the dead of night on a long weekend and assented this law. Now you tell me, Trinidad and Tobago, if for no other reason than her actions here, should Kamla Persad-Bissessar even be considered for anything other than state-sponsored silver bracelets and time at the president's pleasure? This is a country that doesn't understand wrongdoing. Because if we did, we would be mad as hell. We would take this shit seriously and not send little wind-up toys to attack me. Because they want you to forget how corrupt and insidious they were. Herbert Volney has no aspirations to be the political leader of a new political entity that he has registered. I am quite happy to be the organizer of the movement that is We the People. I stop and reading there because I want you to hear what I wrote. The only members of this party that anyone is aware of is Herbert Volney, a man who believes not only is he entitled to his own opinion, but to his own facts. And brief PEP member Suzette Lauer, who together run a party he shouldn't lead and she cannot lead, setting a new record for failing before you even start, yet having the brass balls and the audacity to go public. CNC3, I am holding you responsible. Because CNC3 and Guardian Media and that stunting jackass Nicholas Sabga, who if it wasn't for your daddy's wallet, you would have no responsibility or job or authority, using the people's media to promote your own agenda. But I am holding all of these political misfires and failures. I have a record of them. Come election time, You, Nicholas Sabga, will explain to the nation why your family business was set up to promote every other shit snake and leaky gut that could have stepped up and called themselves a political party. But 2 years in, the fastest growing political movement in this country's history, the Progressive Empowerment Party, is barred from CNC3 and Guardian Media. But they say it's long rope for MAGA goat and time longer than twine, and all your big ass small company that you feel you could terrorize people with. Hope and pray, light every shade of candle that you could find. Trust me when I tell you this. There will always come a time when you will have to pay for your actions. Frequently wrong but never in doubt, Herbert Volney cannot be called a jackass only because jackasses all across this nation would revolt. We need today an accounting from our parliament. We need today an accounting from our justice system. We need an accounting from the Director of Public Prosecutions. We need an accounting from every senior public office holder charged with oversight for the preservation and protection of this democracy. We need an accounting. If we cannot call them to order, we cannot pretend that this is a real country. We cannot continue to pretend that this is a real country if we allow these people to get away time and again and come back. There's a selfie queen. You're a copy and paste poster, and you endorse Kamala to your political demise. The Progressive Empowerment Party would like to scrub our history of ever having an involvement with you.
Vote for we and we will set you free. Anywhere you turn, somebody chanting to we. Somebody promising jobs for all. Some renting guns to make other people fall. But somebody promising more police cars. Somebody going to take the country far. Somebody putting all the bandits away. He said,
If they do the crime, they're going to damn well pay.
but somebody promising the human rights. Why
Somebody promising to turn off your lights.
the Montreal fun with little Trinidad boys. A bullet start to win and put an end to the joy. Now they lying cold for the mama to mourn. The Nike gone, the gold teeth gone. You see they got the pocket full of blue silk.
They want to start you drinking full cream milk.
The little red silk is not their true friend. The blue one have two extra knots on the end. So a tag on the toe is now they take it to hell.
Well, look where we reach.
Well, I hear a madman born. As he spread out the
Madman politics.
he said, this is it, I've been hit.
No time to give up, brother. No time to quit. Pause it right there. All of them have to answer for their terms in office. Answer for every word you say. Answer for every utterance. We, the Progressive Empowerment Party, get more scrutiny, more column inches on social media than any other political party in this country's history. The Progressive Empowerment Party is scrutinized daily. I am hearing people saying on one side, if we defend ourselves from attack, we are too rabid. If we don't defend ourselves from attack, we're a cult. What is that? The gospel according to Grey Goose? Who is coming up with this? Why can't you? I had to tell Clyde Weatherhead today. Clyde Weatherhead is giving a prediction. I said, Clyde, I beg to differ. There's never been nothing like the Progressive Empowerment Party before. The Congress of the People of which you were part was vomited out of the UNC, had the same ideals and the same philosophies of the UNC, and mourns its passage, wants to return to Mammy, wants to return, calling us a cult but tying string on people's hand. The Progressive Empowerment Party is nothing like anything this country has ever seen before. This is a real democratic political movement built on civic-minded patriots wanting a better country, who have said we're not leaving, we're going to stand and fight for it. That's where we are. That's where we find ourselves today. And it is why there is a debate running on Facebook right now that if there is a debate between political leaders, Kamala and Rowley cannot be allowed to stunt for the masses. You must include Philip Edward Alexander. Publish the polls. Publish the polls and let people see, because right now, 84% of the people on Facebook for the past 5 days, over 1,000 people polled so far. And if 1,000 sounds like a little bit, I want you to know that the polls that they publish in the Newsday and the Guardian and the Express, NACTA polls, NACTA or NACTA, whatever, are 250 people. 250 people polled. Call them on the phone. What do you think about this? Right? Yeah, good. As the poll. We have an open public, not a secret poll that you can't see the results, open to the public. 84% of the people. And I'm telling you, of that 16%, more than half of the voters are people sent to vote nay. And still, the Progressive Empowerment Party, they have every right to be afraid of us. They have every right to be afraid of us. When I go down south this morning, it's like they treat us like celebrities. South, all your wooing, you know. I nearly leave South today. I nearly stay. The way the people of South, all these South constituencies, the hospitality of these people is amazing. It is the Trinidad that I remember growing up in. It's like it retreated to South, Port of Spain. We have to step up our game. Tongue, we getting left behind, Tongue. South have a real game running. South people nice. Nice, too bad. Their hospitality, even when disagreeing with you, is amazing. It is the Trinidad that I love and I fight for. It is because of that. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, can no longer afford to play political, musical chairs. It never worked. How could the PNM of Eric Williams and Calder and Johnny O'Halloran and the UNC of Ish and Steve be the solution to the PNM of Calder Hart and the UNC of Calco and all the other madness that's going on in this country? We've reached a point now where it is almost illegal to discuss people who are robbing this country. Judges, you see how the man say they write a law to force the DPP hand. Lawyers embedded in the PNM and the UNC working overtime to take away your freedom of speech by litigation. If they can't get it by law, they will take it by litigation. Nowhere else in the world. I watched an American comedian, this woman, when they had the Women's March, I can't remember her name, she stand up with a mock version of Donald Trump's head, as if they had cut it off. That is the absolute freedom of speech they enjoy. In this country, we pretend to be a real democracy. Don't let it go. Don't take that chain. We need to fix that. You need to want that. You need to vote for that. If that is the Trinidad Tobago, the seat that you want, then you have to stand up for it. As we say, stand up. Stand up TNT cross 20,000 members today. Give yourself a round of applause.
I visited Parliament Chamber, witness an orchestra, a bang, 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 of only politicians. Rated their performance on style, talent and endurance.
A bang, bang, bang of parliamentarians. Politics that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate. Bridges replaced by gates.
No towering racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism, Marxism from the UNC and the PNM, COD and the political symphony. It's a symphony. The TOP, MSJ, and JAC and the political symphony.
politicians. Their lyrics not rhyming, some have no sense of timing.
Of parliamentarians.
Say people for the powerless, promoting the cause of justice.
Our democracy and grace. When this section
Call 34, music rotten to the core. Who are rage we score?
so impure with the UNC and the BNM and the COP and the political symphony. Symphony with the GOP, MSJ and JC and the political symphony. Corruption rebuff.
Enough is enough. The system will always fail. Once the big fish not making jail. Stop right there. Kurt Allen, go to the head of the class. Gary Griffith and 1,000 police put down Operation Strike Back this weekend. And I have nothing but the greatest of respect for Gary Griffith. And 100 out of 100 points. But I want to say that Kurt Allen was correct. The system will continue to fail as long as the big fish not making jail. You cannot have a prime minister tell you that it costs $140 million a day to run this country, total it up and realize that's 50% of what the budget accounts for. And when you total all of the days since independence, we are talking about less than $50 billion and we've spent $3 trillion. Where that money gone? Where it gone? You see, we in recession now, but we wasn't in recession before, and we were getting more money than we needed. We had money to run this country for 1,000 years. Where that money gone? We have $12 billion in our Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Holland, that got oil and gas after us, have $600 billion. Where our money gone? Where did it go? Where is our money? We want our money back. That's what we want. We want our money back, Keith Rowley. Save your bullshit Blue Note graph that you bring to fool paid clappers and applause people. Where's our money? Where's the money that we made under Manning? Like under Eric Williams. Like, I want to tell you something. The ODPM and the Met Office telling you with a straight face, Trinidad and Tobago, prepare for drought. 3 months ago, this same country nearly drowned. 10 times the water we need for 2019 fall in one weekend. And these jackasses didn't save it. You are lying to the people with a straight face. You are using the parliament and your sworn oath to deceive and mislead. Do not get caught up in the thick of thin things. Do not make Philip Alexander the issue. I am not. I am less than the issue. There is no other more reluctant politician than me. When I tell you that's why I speak this way, I will not fool you. You take me as I am, how I feel about the madness that is this country. You do some arithmetic? Let's take the Prime Minister on his word. 52 years. 56 years. 56 multiply by 365. It's 20,440 days, give or take, since August 31st, 1962. It doesn't sound like a lot, does it? We've been independent 20,440 days. Let's say we were spending $140 million from the start. Let's see what that number is. $2,800 billion. A nation that made and spent $3 trillion. The same Prime Minister told you that those numbers were changed under Kamala. That means that we cannot account for more than, at the best case scenario, more than $1 trillion. If 1 million seconds is 11 days, 1 billion seconds is 32 years, 1 trillion seconds is 32,000 years. They have stolen money from this country that could have bought us the rest of the Caribbean. You ever get back pay or overpay or had a good sales week and your commission's rich and you're reaching the grocery and you ain't checking price? Where your eyes see you buy? You ever had that kind of day? You feel like they overcharged me at $15 but they could keep that. You ever had that kind of time, that kind of money? Kind of money Trinidad had. We was building highway for Guyana and airport for Barbados. We care. We didn't care, lending money. Where one? Where one? We buying our wrongs for the Caribbean. What are they drinking? What Cuba, where one? Jamaica, where you drinking? Just tell me where you drinking. That's how we was living. Nasty, stinking dirty. They found us, they saw us coming a mile away. The French, the Germans, the Americans, the Chinese. They see people who didn't understand wealth and money and come and helped us lose all. But now we've developed homegrown criminals, the contract mafia, buying up fairways, buying up Goodwood Park. The only two places in the country during a recession where sellers are routinely getting higher than the asking price because of competition for scarce property in gated communities in this country. Here are these 34 questions. Let's try to answer them. And I put you on notice, tomorrow we will answer them on the radio. Anthony Defoe, Deputy Political Leader, and my radio wingman will be joining me on 104.7 between 9 and noon. Why was Section 34 proclaimed early? Why didn't anyone in the cabinet ask why Section 34 had to be proclaimed early? Did Attorney General Anand Ramlogan know it would be futile to appeal the extradition judgment because Section 34 was coming? Did A.G. Ramlogan know that Ish and Steve were suing the state for $76 million in legal fees? Who brought in Herbert Volney to be a candidate in the 2010 election? Why did UNC leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar present Volney as the candidate for St. Joseph? How does A.G. Ramlogan being on vacation for 4 days absolve him from responsibility in the months-long drafting and proclamation of Section 34? Why is COP leader Prakash Ramadan satisfied with the Prime Minister's action in the Section 34 scandal? Why didn't anyone resign from the government over Section 34? Why wasn't anyone investigated, prosecuted, and charged? Who changed may to shall in Section 34? How did Ish and Steve know to file an injunction under Section 34 even before it was published in the Gazette? There are other questions on this list, but I cannot ask them yet in public. But the truth of the matter is, this country is broken by deliberate design. And if we do not fix it, if we do not get ourselves to a place where we have the authority to command, the hell did I do here? When we have the authority to command, excuse me a second. That we have answers to these questions. There was a prime minister who said, a certain prime minister, this is what he said. I want you to hear this. Sorry about the little delays. I have plenty of things happening on my desktop. All of you all who sending me all of those messages, can't deal with all of that right now. But I want you to hear this.
That is what we're being called upon to do, colleagues. That's what we're called upon to do. And those of you who think that I'm being obstructionist and I'm being whatever you want to be, what we are being called upon to do by a small clique of people in the country is to support wrongdoing.
Stop. I want you to know how corrupt Keith Rowley said his government that he was a part of, the PNM. Keith Rowley, the current sitting prime minister, told the nation that he went to his prime minister, Patrick Manning, in August 2003 to tell him that there was bid rigging and corruption taking place in Udicott that was 10 times worse than what took place in Piarco, that predicated the whole Section 34 fiasco. You see the madness of this country?
I went to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in August 2003.
Yeah, it like that tonight. We will get it. Don't
To the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in August 2003 as a Minister of Government in Trinidad and Tobago, a PNM Minister, and told him that there was bid rigging taking place in Udicott. What the Commission of Inquiry is looking at is 10 times worse than what happened at Piarco Airport. And it's even more brazen. The PNM is on trial. Because those of us who were here and carried the O'Halloran stain, we cannot take the position that this is all talk. In 1986, when we went to campaign in my area, I was there. I don't know who else was there. I was there. And you're going door to door, and you're slamming doors in your face in Westmoreland, in Glencoe, in Bayshore, and all they tell you about is O'Halloran. And today, every school child in this country knows that there's something called Udicott, and it smells to the high heavens. If this country cannot call to order its Prime Minister and its cabinet and its political party cannot call to order. If this country cannot call to order its Prime Minister and its cabinet and its political party to say we are not accepting that, then God help us. If this country cannot call to order its Prime Minister and its cabinet, if this country cannot call to order its Prime Minister and its cabinet and its political party to say we are not accepting that, then God help us. Cannot call to order its If this country cannot call to order its Prime Minister and its cabinet and its political party to say we are not accepting that, then God help us. If this country cannot call to order its Prime Minister and its cabinet and its political party to say we are not accepting that, then God help us.
God help us. performing on Saturday in San Fernando at our 2nd anniversary.
Show them no mercy, put them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power, dominate your reign. Let's put our country together again.
Special guests will be attending this Saturday the 19th at the launch of the South Regional Office and the celebration of the Progressive Empowerment Party's 2nd anniversary. Some names and faces that you'll be very impressed to see are endorsers and supporters of this Your PEP. Come and join us 6 p.m. Saturday in St. Madeleine.
If for 30 years you voting them in,
And it's only tears as soon as they win.
they give you big words.
And enslave your soul, promising your rose.
And giving bottles. If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout, when you're voting, put them on. If it is the passing laws that them alone can flout, when you're voting, put them on. If it is the building heights, south, east, west, north, and south, the same way you vote them kneel.
Register and
Totally stain your finger and rescue the country. Put them out with tempo, they happy in vain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out with calypso and joyously friend. Let's put our country together again.
Jamon asks if we're going to invest in a big jail. I've been told that 90% of the people languishing behind those walls are there on marijuana offenses. And as the Progressive Empowerment Party plans to decriminalize marijuana, not just stunt it like Faris is going to do from January the 23rd, start the conversation. You don't need a conversation. The world has had the conversation. Canada has decriminalized it and paid off their national debt with marijuana sales. The world has had the conversation. Don't stunt for the people. Bring a decriminalization law. Purge the records of everybody you've ever convicted of a marijuana crime and let everybody who is in the jail go. Vacate those matters. Any pending marijuana cannabis matters, vacate them. Let those people go. If you are serious, Faris Al-Rawi, you do not have to have any kind of consultation. The world has had the consultation. We have the opportunity to copy and paste that. Stop misleading the people.
If their policy
It's a fallacy,
their bureaucracy,
a catastrophe,
if they cannot quit,
and you see it so,
then your only hope is for them to go.
lost in all of this is the mad suffering of the people of Tobago and the unreliable sea bridge in a country that has been built by people who have sailed here from 1492 all around the world. They found their way to Trinidad and Tobago, but we can't seem to find our way between Trinidad and Tobago. Everything is theft. Everything is stealing. Everything is used as an opportunity to distress the people and then pretend to be riding to the rescue of that distress only to rob them further. This is a nation with the dubious record of a woman being raped in the Queen's Park Savannah, screamed for help, and 9 men came and helped the rapist. That has been our political legacy in this country. Everybody who has piled on the PNM and UNC have been political advantage takers, come to feather their nests and to fill their pockets at the expense of the people. That has gone on for far too long. 20,440 days is enough madness. Trinidad and Tobago needs a government of the people, by the people, most importantly, for the people. We need recall legislation. If the Progressive Empowerment Party does one thing and give you a law called recall, I want to show you the power of that law. If a government comes to office that tries to repeal that law, you could fire them before they table it in the parliament. You need to put the power of the parliament back in the hands of the people. Only then will the power of the purse be used to elevate and educate all of the people. No longer will CNMG and TTT and GISL and all of them be used for propaganda. No longer will state funds be used to bribe other media houses to block real political choice. Trinidad and Tobago is not a real country. We don't even play one on TV. It is time for us to stand together, one people under one flag, and fix this once and done.
If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the frustration that's make you want to shout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out.
Before they just use up, default, sell out, and takes out. If it's you who vote them in,
Vote them out.
clean up your mess.
Register and vote them out. All of them,
Vote them out.
take your finger and
Vote them out.
them on the system, vote them out. Vote them out in Scarborough and in Port of Spain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out in Kamuga and in Laramie. Let's put our country together again. People must come first.
Citizens by right, none of we ours, yellow, black or white, food, shelter and clothes, free movement and speech, a garden that grows, and one law for each. Robert Ashley Steele just asked a very important question, and Robert, I want to explain to you that questions like death penalty and those kind of questions, abortion, we want to go to the people of this country through a referendum and give them, like how in the States, you could add Proposition 104 to the ballot so people could vote on that as well. We plan to use referendum to get the people's opinion. Because if the people of Trinidad and Tobago want the death penalty as their final recourse, we will empty death row. But we are governed we have signed ourselves to treaties that prevent us because of Pratt and Morgan. And Pratt and Morgan means that if somebody's been convicted of and sentenced to death for more than 5 years and you've not executed them, then it must be commuted. The Progressive Empowerment Party plans to change the way justice is done by putting a clock on all matters. 3 years for private matters, civil matters, 5 years for criminal matters. That means the judge becomes case manager And if a case takes longer than the prescribed time, be it civil or criminal, the lawyers for the other side could have the case thrown out. That will again prevent wasting people's time. This is a country where a man broke in Stevens and Johnson's, and 25 years later, that matter was still going on. We need to fix everything, the administration of justice, so that we could deal with it. They say justice delays, justice denied. So we need to fix that too.
If it is that injustice is what they always show, when you're voting, vote them out.
Vote them out. If it is that avarice is all they seem to know,
When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out.
if it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come,
All bandits must go.
all 41,
Register and
vote them out.
if they don't see, say no finger and show them no mercy. Put them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power,
Terminate the reign.
let's put our country together again.
Come on, hear that song live Saturday 19th. I want to give you the address. The address of the event is 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. There is train stop bar. Those of you who are familiar with the area, I have gotten very familiar with the area. And it's easy to find. If you're coming from South Parkway, I know it from that way. You continue in a easterly direction until you reach the junction. You turn right and you drive, and you get two junctions, a smaller one and a slightly bigger one. On the right hand side of that junction is a yellow building, you can't miss it, and a church in front of you. Turn left there, keep driving. As soon as you cross the black and white concrete bridge in the road, you're there. You will see a sea of orange. Maybe the traffic will be backed up from there, because it looks like Saturday, sell out. We're going to be lit. A message is going to be sent to the political directorate of this country that the people are no longer accepting political mismanagement as the status quo of Trinidad and Tobago. It is time to fix it, to unite as one people under one flag. To those of you who think that it is not possible to do it, step out of the way of us who are actually working to get it done. Trinidad and Tobago, this is your political party. Ask anybody who becomes a member of this party. They come for the first time and they say, I reach home. Because you feel it. You feel that you're in a political party where nobody don't put on airs, where you don't have to go and sit down. I remember in the Congress of the People, you don't sit down on a chair and wait to see if you could talk to the chairman or the political leader, if they could make a minute for you. Madness! The Progressive Empowerment Party is one family. People ask, will you still be doing live videos if you are Prime Minister? Absolutely. You see this thread? You see the way people could comment and talk to me? Unless you're disrespectful or threatening, talk. We have a whole crew that's deal with if you're a troll, if you just come to violate normal human decency, we'll remove you. Other than that, we will be here talking to you. It is very important to me and to us that we not lose sight of the ground. The Progressive Empowerment Party distances itself from the big shot version of Trinidad society. We build in from the ground up. Yes, that will benefit everybody. A rising tide lifts all boats. If we change the condition of the people at the absolute bottom rung of society, they spend up. They spend up. When you have people who were formerly indigent and unemployable suddenly cash rich and have money to spend, them spending by small business, who spending by little bigger business, who go in and buy BMW and Mercedes-Benz, that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. That is simple maths. I didn't need graphs and I didn't need pie charts to get you to understand. The job is the ground. Get down on the ground. Fix that. fix the ground. The Progressive Empowerment Party promises you real fire this Saturday. Don't miss this, you know. Come in person. Until tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock on 104.7, we will be there live. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.